Good morning. Welcome to Gentle Yoga. I'm Shraddha Hilda, and it's an honor to guide you through your practice. Start your practice in any position that feels comfortable for you this morning or this evening, depending on when you're practicing. If you're in a seated position, encourage you to sit at the edge of a blanket or a pillow. That's going to support your lower back. Start to settle into whichever shape you've chosen to start your practice in. Maybe you soften the eyes. Start to tune in to your body and to your breath. Approaching your practice, approaching this time together with the feeling that it's a privilege to practice and that this is sacred time. So allowing for this feeling of specialness as you begin to move inward. Noticing each breath. Maybe you start to notice your body's settling down. Some of the muscles in the shoulder start to release. And then after the next breath, bring your hands together in front of your heart. Gently bow towards your heart. And just for a moment, allowing yourself to connect with the word santosha. And santosha means contentment. I like to say it means enoughness. Just notice how it feels when I say contentment or enoughness. Right? Santosha and contentment is not something that we can really make happen. It's just something that we relax into. Just by existing, just by being as we are. Each moment, right? We're aware of the preciousness of each breath, of each moment. A student asked his teacher, "What is the secret to happiness?" And the teacher responded, "When it rains, let it." And that's not easy, right? We're often thinking about what we should be doing, what we don't like. And especially these days, we're starting to feel more uncomfortable being out of our routines. But maybe we can go back to those wise sages that said, when it rains, just let it. And how do we do that? How do we move from a place of lack, from a place of I don't have enough, or I need something else to be happy, to be content? We list a few things that are already enough. So we start by acknowledging our heart for pumping and honoring that that is enough. We tune into our kidneys that are pumping and honor that that is enough. We notice the in-breath and the out-breath, and we notice that is enough. And we acknowledge the love that we give and we receive. And we notice and feel that that is enough. So by connecting with some things that feel like they are already enough, it allows us to move from this place of lack. from this place of when I have this, then I will be content. Right? I catch myself doing that. When all of this is over, I'm going to blah, blah, blah. But I can pause and acknowledge what's here right now. And maybe allow for some feelings of santosha and contentment. So with the next few breaths, accept this offering as it is and allow it to be enough. As we practice and you start to let your mind wander or wonder why we're doing a certain shape and not another shape, gently come back and allow this moment to be enough. Allow this offering to be enough. Take a deep breath in and out. If you're on your back, find your way into a seated position. So today we're going to move the spine quite a bit. Many of you have practiced with me before, so just think of your spine as when you move in and out of cat-cow. So let's start by putting the feet out in front and then allow the soles of the feet to touch so there's a big diamond shape in the middle here. Hands are right below the knees. I call this seated cat-cow. Some other teachers call it camel. So as you exhale, you're going to round your back, tuck your chin, and rock back on your sit bones. As you inhale, you're going to lift your heart, gently rock forward on your sit bones. There's an arch in your back. Continue to do that. If you're not sure what I'm doing, I'm going to turn to the side so you can see me. Exhale, round your back, tuck your chin. Imagine you're trying to take the mid-back towards the back wall. Inhale, rock forward on your sit bones. Lift your heart, shoulders up and back. Few more breaths here, nice and slow. Feeling that specialness, sacred movement of your body, your breath. Inhale, lift your heart, shoulders up and back. Exhale, round your back, tuck your chin. Last time, inhale, lift. Back to a neutral spine, take a pause. Inhale, turn the head to the right. Exhale, turn your head to the left. Come back to center. Allow this moment to be enough. Deep breath in and out. Place the hands on the outsides of the knees. Bring your knees together. Walk your feet out so they're a little bit wider. Hands right below the knees. Exhale, round your back one more time. Tuck your chin, tuck your pelvis. Inhale, lift your heart, shoulders up and back. And then pause. We're going to come on to hands and knees. I want you to use your blanket if you're using one or a towel to support your knees, even if you don't think you need it. Knees hip distance apart, hands slightly above the shoulders. Press into the pads of your fingers. Gently pull the navel in towards the spine, and we're going to continue with a few cat-cows. Exhale, round your back, tuck your chin, tuck your pelvis. Inhale, drop your belly, lift your heart, lift your tailbone. Exhale, round the back, tuck the chin, tuck the pelvis. Inhale, drop your belly, lift your heart, lift your tailbone. Come back to center. Adjust your knees so they're still hip distance apart. Stretch the right leg back, tuck the toes of that right foot, right hip in line with the left, and just gently rock forward and back. Notice that delicious stretch, the back of that right leg, hamstrings. come back. If your mind has drifted, allow this moment to be enough. Switch sides, right knee to the mat. Stretch the left leg out, tuck the toes, left hip in line with the right. There's a gentle engagement in the muscles of the belly as you rock forward and back. Just tuning in to the sensations in that left leg. Maybe there's a slight lift in the inner left thigh. And come back. Release your sit bones back towards your heels. Gently lift your hands and make some circles. Releasing any tension. Allowing this moment to be enough. Stretch your arms back out. Come back on to hands and knees. Tuck your toes. We're going to come into downward facing dog just for a moment. So you tuck your toes, you lift your knees, you take your hips back. Ears between the arms. Bend your knees a lot to protect your back. And with the next breath, bend the left knee. Take 2 breaths. Once again, noticing the stretch in that right leg, all the way from the heel, up the leg. Maybe you notice the stretch on the sides of the body. Allowing yourself to be present. Switch sides, straighten the left leg, bend the right knee. And that left heel doesn't have to touch the floor. Take 2 more breaths right here. Soften your head. Bend your left knee, so both knees are bent. Release back onto the mat. Untuck the toes. And maybe you sit on your heels. If you want to get back on your blanket or your mat, your towel. And if sitting on your heels doesn't feel good, just sit in any position that does. Bring one hand to your heart, one hand to your belly. Tune into your heart. Tuning into this sacred moment. And notice your heart beating. And then as you exhale, round your back, tuck your chin. Gently tilt the pelvis. As you inhale, tilt the pelvis forward, lift your heart. There's a gentle arch in your back. Exhale, round the back, tuck the chin. Feel the back rounding. Inhale, there's a gentle arch in the back as you lift your heart. One more time, exhale, round the back, tuck the chin. Take a pause to connect, to allow for this moment to be enough. Maybe you allow the corners of the mouth to come up. We're going to come on to hands and knees one more time. We're going to come into a variation of gate pose and child's pose. Cat-cow. Stretch the right leg out so it's out nice and long. Spread the toes. Adjust your arms, your hands so you feel stable here. And once again, round your back, tuck your chin, tuck your pelvis. Inhale, drop your belly, lift your heart, lift your tailbone. Exhale, round the back, tuck the chin, tuck the pelvis. Inhale, drop your belly, lift your heart, lift your tailbone. And make sure your spine is moving, make sure the pelvis is moving. Last time. Drop the belly, lift the heart. Feel the shoulder blades sliding down the back. And then come back to a neutral spine. You can stay right here or walk your hands in, coming onto the knees. Adjust your clothes and your hair. Inhale, take your arms out wide and up towards the sky. Arms are going to be a big V shape here. Tailbone pointing down. Press into that right foot. And just notice the energy it's taking you to hold yourself up. Soften the shoulders away from the ears. Take the gaze to the right. Take the gaze to the left. Come back to center. Release the right hand onto the right thigh. Left arm up to the sky. Maybe you tilt towards the right a little bit. Feel a delicious stretch on the left side of your body. Tune into your breath. Allowing the breath to be your anchor. And then bringing the arms back into a T shape. Release the left arm towards the left thigh, right arm up to the sky. And just pause right here. Reach that right arm up to the sky. Navel in towards the spine. And bring the arms back into a T shape. Slowly release the arms. Walk your way out. Take your time as you bring the right knee to meet the left. And just shift the hips around, noticing, allowing the breath to inspire you to slow down, to tune in to the sensations in your body. And after the next breath, come back to a neutral spine. Stretch the left leg out, toes pointing forward or out, whichever feels best. I like toes pointing forward. That right knee is right below the right hip. Adjust your arms so you feel stable right here. Exhale, round your back, tuck your chin, tuck your pelvis. Inhale, drop your belly, lift your heart, lift your tailbone. Exhale, round your back. Tuck your chin, tuck your pelvis. Inhale, drop your belly, lift your heart, lift your tailbone. Bring your mind back to your body. Exhale, last time, round your back. Tuck your chin, tuck your pelvis. And come back to a neutral spine. Stay right here or walk your hands in, coming onto your knees. So that right knee below the right hip. Just notice how this feels. Press into that left foot. Maybe you already noticed this feels a little bit different. Inhale, stretch your arms wide and up into a V shape. Release your shoulder blades down the back. Notice your breath and your body. Coming back to Santosha. Maybe you allow for a slice of Santosha. Release the left arm, right arm up to the sky, and then maybe you tilt, arch over to the left side, tuning in to the stretch on the right side of your body. Maybe you notice the rib cage. Bringing your arms back into a T shape. Right arm to the right thigh, left arm up to the sky. Tuning into the freedom that comes with being on your mat. Bringing the arms back into a T shape. Release the arms. Slowly walk the arms, the hands back out in front of you. Bring the left knee to meet the right. Exhale, round your back, tuck your chin, tuck your pelvis. Inhale, drop your belly, lift your heart, lift your tailbone. And then once again, sitting on your heels for a moment, place one hand on your heart and one hand behind the heart. Tune into your heart beating, tailbone pointing down so you're not overarching your back. Tuning into the space between your left hand and your right hand. Noticing your heart beating, your heart pumping. Allowing this to be enough, your heart pumping, your in-breath and your out-breath. Take your time as you come back onto hands and knees. We're going to come into downward facing dog as a way to come up onto the feet. If that doesn't work for you, please just find your way onto your feet and always honor your own body. Remember, everything we do in class is an invitation. You ultimately decide what's best for you. So tuck your toes, lift the knees, take the hips back. Take 2 or 3 breaths, noticing how this feels today. And then walk your feet to your hands. Take your time, bend your knees a lot. Place your right hand on your right thigh, left hand on your left thigh. Slowly start to lift your heart as you come up to a standing position. Deep breath in and out, allowing the breath to be your anchor. If you have any props on your mat, go ahead and remove them. You come into a balancing pose via a walking meditation. So when you're ready, just walk the feet back in so they're right next to each other. And then with the in-breath, lift your right foot. With the out-breath, place the right foot directly behind the left foot. Inhale, lift your left foot. Exhale, left foot directly behind the right foot. Inhale, lift the right foot. Exhale, release the right foot behind the left foot. Notice if you're a little wobbly, that's okay. Imagine all the muscles in your body working to keep you upright. Inhale, lift the left foot. Exhale, left foot behind the right. Inhale, right foot. Exhale, right foot releases. Inhale, left foot. Exhale, left foot behind the right. And then eventually when you get to the back of your mat, just take a pause. Bring your right hand to your heart one more time. Left hand behind the heart. Tuning into your heartbeat. Tuning into that space between your right hand and your left hand. Allowing what's happening here in the body to be enough. And then gently release the arms, the hands. We're going to come into that motion that we did earlier in cat-cow, the flexion and extension of the spine. So this time we're going to take the feet about hip distance apart and you're going to bend the knees a little bit. You're going to place your hands on your thighs And as you exhale, you're going to round your back, tuck your chin, tuck your pelvis. As you inhale, you drop your belly, you lift your heart, lift your tailbone. Exhale, round the back, tuck the chin, tuck the pelvis. Spread the toes. Inhale, drop your belly, lift your heart, lift your tailbone. Exhale, round your back. Tuck your chin, tuck your pelvis. Inhale, drop your belly. Lift your heart, lift your tailbone. And last time. Exhale, round your back. Tuck your chin, tuck your pelvis. Back to a neutral spine. And gently lift your heart. Take a pause. And for a moment, allow this breath, this time together, to be enough. I like to imagine that we're practicing at the studio together. So if that serves you, just take a moment to transport yourself to our precious studio that we all miss dearly. Imagine yourself in the studio, tuning in to the sounds and the smells and all the beautiful yogis that practice there. Not as a way of like we should be there, but just as a way of remembering and honoring and enjoying the sacredness of that time together. One more breath. Release the arms. Adjust your feet so they're hip distance apart. We're going to come into chair pose. Bring your hands onto your hips. Bend your knees as if you're going to sit on a chair. And you're going to notice that your back, your spine starts to arch. Point your tailbone down and feel that engagement in the muscles around the belly, the muscle belt. Soften your shoulders. Tailbone down. Keep your hands right here, or maybe you take your arms out in front. And if you'd like, you can take your arms up a little bit more. Maybe you lift your toes and allow for most of the weight to be back towards the heels. With the next in-breath, stretch the arms up towards the sky, straighten the legs. Exhale, arms out wide, releasing. One more time, bend the knees, hands to the hips. Tailbone down, lift the toes. Check in with your knees, make sure they're not splaying out. Tailbone down, arms out in front or up towards the sky. Tailbone down, not tucking, just down. Inhale, stretch the arms up, straighten the legs. Exhale, release. 2 more breaths. Notice your heart. Hands to your hips, bend your knees. Point your tailbone down. Maybe you take the arms out in front or up towards the sky. Slide your shoulder blades down the back, tailbone pointing down. Take 3 breaths. You can do it. Straighten the legs, arms up to the sky. Exhale, slowly release. Take a breath. Allowing for a slice of santosha, contentment. You have everything you need right here, right now, in this moment. Walk yourself to the back of your mat. Inhale, take your arms out wide and up to the sky. Exhale, bow forward. Place your hands on your thighs. Keep lifting your heart. Engage the muscles of the belly. Take your arms out like wings and lift your heart. Inhale, arms up to the sky. Exhale, hands to your heart. Take a breath. One more time. Inhale, stretch your arms out nice and wide and up to the sky. Exhale as you bow forward, lead with your heart. Feel your spine growing long. Bend your knees. Now listening to your body. Place your hands on your thighs, in front of the shins or in front of the toes, whichever feels best for you today. Gently nod yes with your head and gently nod no. Engage the muscles of the belly, lift your heart, take your arms out wide and up to the sky as you bring your spine up to a vertical position. Hands together in front of your heart. Notice your breath. Inhale, take your arms nice and wide and up to the sky. Exhale, bow forward, lead with your heart. Bend your knees so much that you're going to place them on your mat. So you should be at the back of your mat at this point. If you're not, go ahead and get there. And then start to walk your hands away from you, coming into downward facing dog. Adjust your legs, adjust your hands, and notice if your body feels any different than when you did your first down dog this morning. We're going to come into pigeon from here. So you can come into pigeon from downward facing dog or from hands and knees. Okay, so from hands and knees or from downward facing dog, you're going to take the right leg back and then bring the right knee towards the right wrist, left knee to the earth. Tuck your back toes and then gently walk that left leg back. So you're shifting all the weight back to protect your knee. Take a look at your left leg. Walk that left leg in towards midline a little bit. And even here, we're going to come back into the extension of the back. So as you, just kind of you did as we did in cat-cow, right? So exhale, round your back. Inhale, gently lift your heart. See if you can feel that micro movement in your pelvis. Noticing how this feels and notice, see if you can minimize the movement of the head. But you're rounding the back, gently tucking the chin. Inhale, lifting your heart. There's a gentle arching of the back. Few more breaths. Right, and this is a micro movement. For most of us, we're not going to feel the same range of motion that we did from hands and knees as we allow for some extension and flexion in the spine. And then eventually pause. Maybe you stay right here, or maybe you release onto your forearms, bringing your hands into prayer hands. Trying to align your hips. Soften your neck and your shoulders. Soften into this moment. Two more breaths. Notice the stillness between the in-breath and the out-breath. And gently bring your left hand onto the mat, your right hand onto the mat. Lift your beautiful heart, squeeze the kidneys. Place the right hand onto your right thigh very lightly and turn your navel, your ribcage, your heart to the right. Lift. Tuning in to the left side of your body. Allowing for a moment of contentment. Gently unwind out of your twist. Now, most injuries in yoga happen as we're coming out of shapes. So please take your sweet time to come out. Right? Maybe you tuck the back toes and gently walk that left knee forward and take your sweet time. Bring your right knee to meet the left and just allowing for a few breaths to move your body any way it's asking you. Maybe you shift your hips from left to right. Maybe you tuck your toes and come back into downward facing dog. Maybe you just rest in child's pose. Take 3 more breaths. And then eventually, wherever you are, come back onto hands and knees or into down dog. Take your left leg back. Left knee meets the left wrist. If you were in down dog, release that back knee. And we're all going to tuck the back toes, walk that right foot back, and then start to adjust here, trying to keep your hips even. Maybe you tuck your blanket under your left sit bone, and coming back into that extension and flexion of the spine. Exhale, round your back, tuck your chin, tuck the pelvis. Inhale, lift your heart. Exhale. Right, and it's not going to be a huge movement. Just notice where you feel the movement of your spine, your pelvis. Last time, round the back. Take a breath here, lift your beautiful heart. Stay on your hands or come down onto the forearms and placing the hands in prayer position. Bring a little movement to your head, to your neck. And for the next few breaths, just noticing the part of the body you feel the most right now. Maybe it's that left hip, left buttock. Bring the left hand onto the mat and then the right. Deep breath in and out. Stay right here or come into a gentle twist. Left hand onto your left thigh very lightly. And feel the navel, the ribcage, the heart turning to the left. Soften your shoulder blades down the back. Keep lifting your heart. Maybe you notice a stretch on the right side of the body. And gently unwind out of your twist. One more deep breath. Remembering the preciousness of your breath, right? Where would we be without the breath? Now tuck your back toes. Gently walk that right knee forward. Then you're going to tilt onto your left sit bone. Sweep that right leg around. And last time, seated cat-cow. Exhale, round your back, tuck your chin, tuck your pelvis. Inhale, lift your heart. Shoulder blades up and down. Exhale, round the back. And stay here for a few breaths. Just noticing how this feels. Back to a neutral spine. Stretch the left leg out. Right foot on the mat. So imagine there's a straight line from your right heel all the way to your right sit bone. You don't have to jam that foot in. Just align the heel with the right heel with the right sit bone. Extend out to the left heel. Left hand onto the right shin. Right hand behind you. Inhale, lift your heart. Exhale. Take your navel, your ribcage, your heart to the right. Keep your nose in line with your heart. Sometimes when we jam the head over to the right, we're just feeding the ego. So just keep your nose in line with your heart as you move your navel, your ribcage, your heart to the right. Soften your shoulder blades. Keep your spine nice and straight. And when you're ready, take your sweet time to unwind out of your twist. Take a moment to pause, to notice this moment, this beautiful breath, this sacred time on your mat. Switch sides. Right leg out, left foot on the mat. Right hand, left shin, left hand behind you. Inhale, spine grows long. Exhale, navel, ribcage, heart to the left. Keep your nose aligned with your heart. Inhale, spine grows long. Exhale, navel, ribcage, heart to the left. Soften your shoulders. Take 2 or 3 breaths. And gently unwind out of your twist. And if it's comfortable, cross your legs. Just take a moment to pause, to notice. To allow this moment to be enough. Feel the energy flowing in the body. Tuning into this intimacy. What happens when you tune in, when you listen? Take your time as you find your way onto your back. Make sure the body is comfortable, releasing onto the back. I'm going to stay in a seated position to continue to guide you. Maybe you take your legs a little bit wider. Adjust the hips and the shoulders. Gently lift your heart and then slide your shoulder blades down the back. Palms facing up. Very slowly roll your head to the right, softening the inside of your mouth. And then roll your head to the left, gently softening the inside of your mouth. And then bring the head back to center, softening. A student asked his teacher, "What's the secret to happiness?" The teacher responded, "When it rains, let it." Softening the body, Giving yourself 1 minute to rest. Resting from this place of enoughness, contentment, santosha. Noticing the movement of your breath. Noticing the sacred stillness at the top of the breath, at the bottom of the breath. Noticing your thoughts. And noticing the chitta, the awareness of your thinking. Bringing your right hand on top of your heart. Aware of this moment. Aware of the preciousness of this moment, of this time that we have spent together. It has been an honor to guide you through your practice. The love enlighten me honors the love enlighten you. Namaste. Thank you for joining me for class today. Please continue to share your comments through our Facebook page. We love hearing from you. We love knowing that these classes are providing you some refuge. Thank you and have a lovely day.